And that should do it. Okay, awesome. Just gotta double check to see if everything is in order. Okay, cool, awesome. I'm ready to make the video. Now all that's left there to do is to check on my friend to see if he's got the PlayStation 3 console hooked up. Ugh, man, that door's hard to get open. Anyway, do you have the...
Oh man, I love my Xbox 360 console! It's the best console in the whole wide world!
I don't know how you got that, but you get your bloody shitty Xbox out of my goddamn house! Just on that PlayStation note here, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my first video of 2021. Like, holy crap, we did it. We actually did it. We survived 2020. It's a miracle. Although having said that, even though it is a brand new year, some things still remain the same. But anyway, just because it is a brand new year in 2021, we still have to go through the COVID-19 situation. And to anyone who is watching this video and is going through these trying times, please, I hope everyone is looking after each other. Not only that, but also looking after your friends, your family, your loved ones, and making sure that you take care of yourself. But with all that out of the way, let's begin the video. I made a video last year regarding on my PlayStation 4 video game collection, and I was really surprised and shocked to see how many people were really interested in my game collection. And I gotta thank each and every one of you for checking that video out. It really gave me an idea on if I wanted to make another type of these videos down the line, but with a different video game console. And that brings us to today's video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you all my PlayStation 3 video game collection. Overall, I have a total of 66 games to share, and I'm looking forward to sharing them all with you. So with that said, let's begin. From A to Z, we kick things off with Adventure Time: The Secrets of the Nameless Kingdom. Yeah, you probably didn't expect that. I have watched a fair bit of Adventure Time in my younger days, and I thought it was okay. And I believe my opinion with the show is the same as the video game. It's okay, but nothing really too special. Then we have AFL Live 2. I think my brother got this one and gave it to me, I'm not really sure. I don't have a lot of fond memories with this one, unfortunately. I'll probably have to go back to this game at some point to give out my thoughts about AFL Live 2. Next up, we have my Assassin's Creed games. So far, I own 1, 2, 3, and Brotherhood. I always do enjoy some Assassin's Creed games on my spare time, and these games are no exception. The Batman Arkham games are next. Both Asylum and City are great superhero video games, and as for Origins, I do consider it underrated as not many people talk about it and usually skips this one. And just a side note, I have plenty of underrated PlayStation 3 games to share. I do recommend getting all 3 of them though. Next up is my only Battlefield game on the PlayStation 3 console in Battlefield 3. I feel the story was forgettable, but I loved the multiplayer back in the day. I always enjoy spending hours getting kills and exploring around the maps. Speaking of first-person shooters, here's my Call of Duty games: Black Ops 1 and 2, and Modern Warfare 2 and 3. I love all 4 of these games, and if I were to say which one was my favorite, it'll probably have to be Black Ops 1 due to the campaign and zombies. Next up is one of my many Marvel games, starting off with Captain America's Super Soldier. I think it's pretty underrated if I were to be honest. Not perfect, but also not that terrible, as I do enjoy the combat. Dead Island's cover really caught my attention, and I wanted to play that game because I love zombie games. This game in particular is okay, can't really remember too much about it, but at the time I thought it was okay. Another zombie game to talk about is Dead Rising 2. I love the gameplay here, but I thought Chuck Green, the main character you play as, didn't have too much of a personality like Frank West. Up next is Disney's Toy Story 3. This will sound strange to some people, but I love this game. I know, it's weird, but if you're looking for a Disney game with simple gameplay but also features a ton of content, then this will have to be the one. Up next is the Fallout games. Fallout 3 was okay, it did brought me to introduce the series, but I felt in terms of RPG elements, it wasn't as good as the Fallout 1 and 2. but Fallout New Vegas on the other hand is up there in my top 5 favorite video games. I will happily spend over 100 hours just playing through this game again and again. Family Guy Back to the Multiverse is also okay. I feel this game would be more better with friends around to play with you. It has cool references to the show, but the gameplay feels pretty average. I'll be honest, I can't remember what FIFA 14 was about, because each one plays the same to me, but I'm assuming that I had a good time back in the day. I also managed to obtain the God of War collection. Both God of War 1 and 2 are extremely fun games to play. I would say 2 would have to be my favorite one if I had to choose between them both. Gran Turismo 6 is next. I love racing games, and this one I thought was okay, but I wasn't a huge fan of the simulation type of racing games. I would rather prefer the arcade style racing any day of the week. Next up is Grand Theft Auto 4. This was really enjoyable. While the story was a bit forgettable to me and Roman constantly keeps ridding Nico about going to bowling, but I did enjoy this game. So far, I do like Infamous, but I need to spend more time with it to give it a true verdict. But so far, it's pretty alright. Next up is the Jak and Daxter collection, from 1, 2, and 3. The Precursor Legacy was really freaking great. And as for 2 and 3, I might just leave my opinions out for a video down the line. But just a little spoiler, I also love 2 and 3. Just Cause 2 was a good talking point back in the day. Me and my high school friends would often talk about this game. I do enjoy this as well, but haven't gone to the other games in the series. Up next is Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix. While I played a little bit of it on the PlayStation 2, but this was my full-on first playthrough of Kingdom Hearts. I love this game. Full of detail, full of life, and exploring around Disney World was a nice touch too. We have 2 games to mention, and those are Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2. The gameplay is pretty outdated to me, but the story is where it shines. It's that moment you realize that Marvel Ultimate Alliance did a much better job than Marvel Avengers on the PlayStation 4. Next up is Minecraft. That's right, I was a Minecraft nerd in my teenhoods. I must have spent a ton of hours building whatever came to my mind. And oh boy, I managed to create a lot of stuff. Mostly creative, but sometimes weird stuff. Mortal Kombat 9 is next, and I also love this game. I didn't mind the developers going through a reboot in the series, and the fighting style is great as always. Next up is NBA 2K14. Strangely enough, I also have this on the PlayStation 4, which does question how I even got the PS3 version. Oh well, whatever opinion I had on the PS4 version is probably the same there. Up next is Need for Speed The Run. I think it's another underrated game. The story is fine, pretty forgettable, but I do enjoy the gameplay segments. Here's something that you might not see every day. This is Okami. It's a Japanese game about you playing as a dog and you just go on an adventure doing some awesome stuff. I highly recommend trying this game out if you can. Next up is a pretty disappointing game to me. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale was supposed to be like Super Smash Bros, but obviously a lot of PlayStation characters were missing. It didn't live up to the hype, unfortunately. They can still do a sequel in the future, but that remains to be seen. Up next is PlayStation Move Heroes. Please ignore whatever's on the front cover. It sounds great on paper having 3 popular PlayStation mascots from their individual games and coming together into one massive collab. It's a shame that this game is not as great as it looks. Portal 2 is next, and I really like this one. I love the first game, and playing the second one was fun as well, as the puzzles were a nice challenge. Next up we have Rage. I'll be completely honest, I only played this game for around 20 minutes before the game crashed, and that was it. Sometime down the line, I have to give this game another try. And here we have the Ratchet & Clank games. From A to Z, we have Ratchet & Clank A Crack in Time, Ratchet & Clank All for One, Ratchet & Clank Nexus/Into Nexus, Ratchet & Clank Quest for Booty, Ratchet & Clank Q4/Full Frontal Assault, and Ratchet & Clank Tools of Destruction. That only took 2 tries, like I'm really proud of myself. My favorite one has to be A Crack in Time, and my least favorite has to be Full Frontal Assault. Up next is Red Dead Redemption, and I think this is an outstanding video game. A Western-style GTA was unexpected, but it was a great idea. I even have the Undead Nightmare as well, just for some fun on the side. Rugby Challenge 2 is another game me and my brother put quite a few hours on. We created a bunch of characters and just had a blast together. It was fun at the time, but I'm not sure how it holds up today. Now here's an underrated video game to me. Roost is a game I've mentioned every now and then, and I say that because it's a pretty good strategy game. And if you're into those sort of games, then I highly recommend trying this one out. Up next is Saints Row 2 and 3. 2 is pretty good, and I'll go as far to say that it's better than GTA 4, and 3 is okay. You can definitely tell around that time they were transitioning into their own style. Do I need to say any more about Skate 3? Despite some weird moments, Skate 3 features some of the best shit I've played in ages. Seriously, even to this day, it's a lot of fun to chill out and skate around. Up next is Spider-Man 3. I'll be honest, this game did not age well, and comparing to Spider-Man 2, there is something off with this one. I would probably skip it and play other Spider games out there. Here we have the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 1 and 2. I really enjoyed the first game, and the second one, while much shorter, but I also like the improved gameplay. Another fighting game I have is Tekken 6. It's not my favourite Tekken game in the series, but I'd still enjoy it regardless. The gameplay and the story are as good as always. The next two games to talk about is the Elder Scrolls series. Oblivion is an entertaining role-playing game, and even though the entire game is pretty much a meme, but it's filled with content I enjoyed. And as for Skyrim, I already have and talked about it on my PlayStation 4 collection video, so I think the reason why I have it on the PS3 is because it was my first time experiencing Skyrim and I didn't want to upset Todd Howard. Up next is another skateboard game in Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. I got this one after seeing Square Eye Jack's Tony Hawktober video on this certain game. I do believe it's another underrated video game that doesn't get enough attention in my opinion. Speaking of underrated, here's probably one of the biggest underrated games I have on the PlayStation 3, X-Men Origins Wolverine. The gameplay is super fun and really reminds me of the good old God of War days. This game really needs a lot more attention, probably more than most video games out there. And finally, we have the wrestling games. SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, WWE 12, WWE 13, and WWE 2K14. In terms of which one is my favorite, I always get it mixed up between 2008, 2011, and WWE 12, so all three of them are great as equals. As for the weakest one, it is probably SmackDown vs. Raw 2009 due to the lack of certain areas with no general manager mode and career mode being wasted.
Okay guys and girls, and that is pretty much it. If I really had to say what was my favorite one out of all of my collections on the PlayStation 3, I would probably have to say Fallout New Vegas. I just love the RPG elements in that game and the amount of choices and how you can control the narrative and what type of ending you want in a game. It's really interesting the more you go through it. And of course, for every time I play through the game, I always experience a different outcome throughout Fallout New Vegas. I always see something that is brand new, something I've never seen, and that's why I probably like it. And if I had to choose what was my worst game on the PlayStation 3 console, well, it's not going to be a hard choice really, but it's Ratchet & Clank Full Frontal Assault / Q-Force. I mean, what were they thinking with this one? I think because when you look at it, at the end of the day, it is just a balloon tower defense ripoff. Taking something that is popular and putting it into the video games. Like, I'm sure it will work with some of the games, but the problem, it's Ratchet & Clank. You know, Ratchet & Clank gameplay style plus balloon tower defense style as well, they don't really match well together. And I think what really sucks the most is this was Ratchet & Clank's 10th anniversary, so I think that really took a huge bump down the hill. But anyway, that's going to be the end of it. I thank you all for watching, and I catch you all next time.